All right. Welcome to the Heather Marie Show. We've got Azim in the building, the life-giving MC. How you doing, Azim?
Peace, I'm doing well, sis. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a beautiful day out. I got travel plans this weekend. Doing some shows in Miami, so everything's on the ups. You know.
That's peace. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I know you've been working on some music and some projects as you should. I know you've been recently in the studio recording some tracks. You want to tell me a little bit about that?
Well, my brother Supreme Allah Magnetic did. We collided a couple of months back, and since then we've been putting that work. So we'll track one right there.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself, Azim, like where you're from. And we know that you do music, hip hop music. Tell me about that.
From Hartford, Connecticut, originally. That's the place. My journey with music. I come from a musical background. My parents both. I grew up on music. I was doing, with, doing I was, I was doing producing, production work. First album I helped produce was to Universal Zulu Nation. He was the head of the Bronx chapter back in. So I was album.
Can you sit a little closer to the mic? You're cutting out a little bit, Azim.
This better.
Yeah, because you tell like I'm cutting out like the tail end of what you're saying. It's kind of clipping the tail ends, and I want to get everything that you're saying. I did hear you from Hartford, Connecticut. I did hear that you from a musical background, and then I kind of got lost in translation what you were saying. If you could repeat that for the audience, we would love to hear about your musical background.
Let me just put these headphones in one time.
Okay.
All right, mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Is that better?
That sounds much better. Yeah, nothing's cutting out, so that sounds
cool,
great.
Cool. Yeah, I'm from Hartford, Connecticut. I come from a musical family, so I'm blessed in that regard. That music was very easy for me. And before I was rhyming, I was playing instruments, so that was my whole thing. I was producing.
Nice.
My very first album I helped produce was actually the leader of the Bronx chapter of the Universal Zulu Nation. Back was it 25? So back about 13 years ago, which was ill. And at some point, rhyming just became a thing I did. My main element in hip hop was breaking for a long time. So I'm originally a b-boy first in hip hop. That's when I first was introduced to hip hop as a living, breathing culture. You go to jams that still look like it does back in the, I don't know, you see the old movies like Breaking or Beat Street. It still looks like that. So that's my home in hip hop. So that's why my approach to it is a little bit different.
I love it. Yeah. It's definitely a breath of fresh air to hear the lyrical hip hop come back. I don't want to say that it ever left, but definitely hip hop was like, warped into rap, and then there's different, it morphs and it bends and it molds as different flavors and different isms come in. There's different flavorisms that come in, whether it's where you were raised, like different parts of the country, different types of music that you were exposed to either through like your parents, maybe your grandparents, your friends, or like when you travel, when you meet new people and they're like, yo, check this track out, check that out. And you're like, man, I would have never thought I'd like that flavor, but yo, I like that flavor. You know what I mean? So it definitely is something like that. Now, I haven't gotten to see necessarily I'm from New York too, but I'm from Buffalo. So I haven't gotten to see necessarily all the places that. Now, I've been through Hartford because we drove through like New York, New Jersey. I used to live in like Newburgh, New Windsor, which is close to the city, right? So we would go across the bridge to Jersey, this and that. I've been through Connecticut plenty of times because you got to travel through if you want to go to New York or various places like that. Then I had my grandfather was in Rhode Island, so I'm familiar with traveling through those places, but I haven't got to see all the historic spots per se in Connecticut per se. Now I've gotten to see some different joints like in maybe Massachusetts or maybe like I said, Rhode Island and stuff like that. And I've seen some spots in the city, but I ain't seen all the joints in the city because I've only gotten to see, you go to Chinatown, you go to different spots, you go to Harlem or you go to like East Village or West Village, stuff like that. You've been seeing that, the Empire State Building, but maybe some of the real joints that you wanna get the real hip hop culture and get the flavors, and just like you want to go to certain parts of town and get those flavors, whether it's soul food or you go to Chinatown to get the Asian flavors or wherever you're going. you want to get that flavorism in there, and the true culture of it. So we
Oh,
appreciate
indeed.
stuff like that. So I know you. That's kind of how you got into the lyrical hip hop. Is you was a D-boy first. So how did that? How would that transition go about?
Well, just real quick, just to when I deal with audiences across the country, and I say I'm from Connecticut, I just want to say, yes, we have black people. Yes, we got hoods. Yeah, we have black trauma where I'm from too. We got poverty and gang violence and all that stuff where I'm from. Just get out the way, because every time I deal with people from across the country, there are black people in Connecticut. Like, yes, we got black people. You know, here I'm talking right now, my accent. Yes, we have black people in Connecticut.
Wow.
So I just want to get out the way for everybody
There,
who's curious.
there is more than
Homicide
the same
Hartford
thing of that.
at one point, Homicide Hartford is the murder capital of the whole country. Not to be proud, but they call it Homicide Hartford.
We were capital of the country for one point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dang.
the
I remember
nickname
when it
of
was
Hartford is
Baltimore.
homicide.
Wow. I remember when it was Baltimore, and I also remember when it was Chirac. You know what I'm saying? Chicago. But yeah,
93 gang war, Solids versus 25.
man.
You get killed over here.
That's
See,
Supreme in the background.
yeah, they're definitely supreme. So what I think people are referencing in Connecticut is one of the pricing is very high in Connecticut. There's like there's a lot of what you just described, but then there's also a lot of wealth that's in there too. So people are like, oh, Connecticut, the sales tax is high, everything's high. People must got money. Oh, that's what it is. No,
You do got a lot of old money out this way. That the
there
Kennedys are in
is,
Connecticut. You have a
but
lot of
it's lit. But it's
really
the space.
wealthy people.
It
We
seems
have
like
the number one disparity in America. Number one. So we have some of the poorest neighborhoods in America are actually in Hartford. So one of my neighborhoods is one of the poorest neighborhoods in America. Just you know what I'm saying, because just so people have that idea that we ain't just sitting here pretty and just you
yeah,
had everything go right for you your life and now you're trying to rap and like nah, it's all good.
yeah,
If that is the case, nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm
I
saying?
have to interject. You know what it is, Joe? You have like places like Greenwich,
Yeah,
Avon,
yeah.
West Hartford. So you might have four towns where there's millionaires and billionaires, but that doesn't explain for Bridgeport, New Haven, Waterbury, Hartford, even East Hartford. So like a few towns will make it look like this place is rich because that raises the tax level up crazy. Tommy Hilfiger lives in Connecticut, Greenwich, Stamford. That's what makes it look like there's money here. I ain't gonna talk no more. This is an interview. I apologize.
Y'all caught that?
we definitely caught that. We want to change those disparities because it really shouldn't be that way. I think we should take our front yards back and start planting fruit trees everywhere and plant the female trees instead of the male ones without the pollen. So we all sneezing and getting allergies and stuff because I know it messed with my
Oh,
allergies.
oh, so you know
They
about that? Cool, cool.
definitely
I'm
know.
gonna
I know about
I'm gonna
all that.
I'm gonna just let you see my hat one time.
Yeah, Black Farmer. I love that. I would love to find out what you growing and stuff about some of those plant medicines at some point too, because I'm definitely on the we always on it like a natural healing journey, trying to better our what we're eating and stuff like that. I got the juicer. Sometimes I juice, sometimes I don't. I'm trying to get better at that. I've always kind of been ever since I was like in fourth grade and I got sick and I had to go to the hospital and I found out that I shouldn't be eating white bread. I should be eating like whole grain and what whole grain meant, what fiber was, and that I should be drinking 100% juice and that cranberry juice is really good for you, but a lot of the other juices were not as good without the sugars and stuff. I learned that in fourth grade.
Mm.
So I've been on like a lifelong trying to eat healthy, eat healthier, healthier. I went vegetarian for a while. I eat meat. I kind of like to do some more vegetarianism, even some veganism. I just don't like the vegan cheese. That's kind of where my problem is. You know what I mean? Me and lactose are not friends. I'm lactose intolerant, like most of us are. Um, so I cheat with the butter and the cheese. I can't find a cheese substitute. The butter is cool, but what do we do about the cheese? That's kind of where I get stuck in. You know what I mean? But I love that you also, besides the hip hop, that you're a farmer because really we could feed our people. Really, what I would love to see is somehow we come up with a partnership. You're a black farmer. Now we find out to a way to have a community garden in every single hood. We find a way to not make the food disparity where we show everybody how they can go out with maybe $20 and go get a few plants to plant on their terrace or wherever they're at. Because if you living in apartments and you living in the hood and they're in this, you can't get any healthy food, right? You got to go to bodega, right? Then you want to be able to grow maybe some fresh herbs that they can have. They don't gotta go, oh, get this fake cilantro that's been dried out. They can go get the fresh cilantro and it grows. You can put in everything and then it won't cost you anything again. You know, maybe they could grow some tomatoes or some bell pepper or something or an onion, something like that. or the one that would best serve, I feel like the community will be potatoes. If people learn how to grow the potatoes, I want to try this. It's not the prettiest thing, but I seen when you can grow it like in a laundry basket, like a white laundry basket from dollar store. I'm sure they got those close up there. You can get them baskets and some dirt and some straw. Where I don't know where they would find that the straw at, but you know what I'm saying. And you layer it with the potato. Like you got the potatoes and sprout, cut them up and stick them in there, and then you got a whole basket full of potatoes. I'm talking, mashed potato, baked potato, fries, wedges. What you talking about, right? And then that's really like sustenance because people could really make a meal with that. You know what I mean? You can make versus like if you just growing onions, you can, but you can't. That's not just gonna be your meal. But a potato, you can make really a meal out of that. You know what I mean?
especially in
Something
colder areas.
right in colder areas, and especially where people in need, they have those like those nutrients in there. Teach people to grow the organic potatoes. Make sure they're not using the pesticides so they can eat the skins where all the nutrients is at. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Because if you, I would say food and hip hop definitely go together. You know what I
Facts.
mean? It's culture, and it's like, let me say this: it's like when your bodies are not being nourished. Sometimes what coming out your body is not nourishment. What you speaking may not be nourishment because what you putting in is not nourishment. So what you expect to come out, everybody they don't have that. Now some people, their bodies they're smart enough that their bodies talk to them and they listen. They say, "Hey, this is all we have here, but my body don't feel right eating this. There's got to be another way. How can I find a way?" And they find a way to do that. But then everybody else around them, they're like, "Oh, you the healthy one. You the bunny rabbit. You a salad eater. You're not like us." We got to change that mentality and put what's good for us in there and make that what's acceptable. Make that's what's cool and not like nothing anything against fried chicken or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Not just be like, "Oh, we gonna have some fried chicken and fries." Because I know my little kid, he love it. My little son, he want to go get that. He be like, "Mom, I want to give me. I want chicken and fries." You know it's not healthy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
So you
that's exactly right and exact though. What you're putting in is what you get out. That also goes for your thoughts. And a lot of the problems that we see, not just in the hood, but in the whole of the country, goes right back to the diet. All the sickness and all the unhealth. They used to call it sugar diabetes. They stopped calling it that, so you stop associating diabetes with sugar. And they put sugar in everything. So yeah, we're in the middle of a ginormous health crisis, but it's all good at the end of the day because we're more organized than ever in trying to make sure that we have healthy alternatives for the people. And it's
we
only
just have,
getting better. As one
that's
side's
right.
getting worse, one side's getting better. So it happens at
That's
the
right.
same time.
Yeah, that's right. There's always a balance. But see, it's like you can go give Johnny a fish, and if he's hungry, you should give Johnny the fish, and then you need to go teach Johnny how to go fish on his own with the tools and
Exactly.
material that's accessible to him. Don't tell him to
Exactly.
go get no fancy pole with the casting reel and the dobber and the weights and all this stuff. He needs something they can go fish with. They need a regular a basic pole for $10, maybe $20 if you can find one for 10, but a $10 or $20 pole with your hook. Maybe if you know how to fasten dive, you can do that. But you'll need know all the different reels and all this. Get you some worms, night crawlers, or get you some hot dogs, depending on what kind of fish you're going to get. That's the trade secret. Get you some hot dogs, boo, and you know what I mean, and go cast it, and they'll bring home a bucket full. Whereas you coming to look for that fish, I gave you a fish. Now every time you hungry, you ain't making. Now you coming to me, hey, I need a fish. Hey, I need a fish. Hey, I got my own family stuff. I can't give you the fish this time. I need you to go out there and go take this fishing pole, what I showed you to do, and go out there, cast that reel, and bring home that dinner for your family. And it don't mean that if you come to me next time, I won't help you, but I can't help you every time. I'm busy helping myself. Now, if I
Exactly.
say helping you come every so often, 1 or 2 times a year, you need a little help, I'm gonna help you. But if it's like you need help every month, now it's every 2 weeks. Now, so we can't have those habits now. But we do have to help our people, and it shouldn't be a monetary thing. Everything that you want to do to help yourself or better yourself, everything costs money, and it really shouldn't be that way. That's one thing that I know Supreme does. Like he'll help people, and it's not about the money. It's about what I mean. It's like for the people. It's for the culture. We that's really been lost in translation. So I think that's something that's gonna come right back along with lyrical hip hop. Because when the lyrics are changing and you're giving different content and meaning, and you got to even go look up them words or see the way that the words are arranged, the meaning
Hmm.
derivative from that even. That's gonna change what we're consuming, so it'll change what we're putting out, and then that's gonna make us take a step back from everything that we had to say. Whoa, this is what we had, and we know that we won the best, but it's not as bad as what we got going on now. But it started with us, like the booty music, you know what I mean? That started with us. But you know what I'm saying? But it's kind of came into something else now, and been took way too far from video vixens and all that other stuff. So like, hey, like we just wear bathing suits all the time. Like if you at the beach scene, cool, you wearing your bathing suit, but you ain't doing it 24/7. Everybody don't live at the beach. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
True
That part.
indeed.
Yeah, it's everything. If you have an excess of something, you're not going to value and appreciate it because it's a dime a dozen to you. But then for other people that they never see that their whole life, or they working so hard and they would love to just even try something like that, and they don't have access, and you just throwing stuff away like it's money in a thing, throw it out like rice. You just throwing it away. We need to help our people, help them learn finance, help them learn what nutrition is, because people are like, oh, I need to eat. People don't even know what the purpose of eating is. They just know that they're hungry and they need to eat because they're hungry. But they
Mm-hmm.
don't know the point of eating is for nutrition. You're supposed to get vitamins and nutrients and minerals, macro and
Mm-hmm.
micro,
There you want it.
nutrients. Forget that part. And a lot of people don't know that. People don't know about the water. You know, so many people now, it's normal for people to just drink bottled water or have this, but there's a lot of people that can't afford that, and they still have to drink the tap water because they can't afford anything else, or they don't know what's in the tap water because they're too busy trying to work and just put food on the table and keep the light bill on and make sure their kids get to school okay without getting bullied or shot up or snatched up because they're snatching our kids up. You know what I mean? That part. That's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Give back. Like my thing is a sickle cell. That's how I give back. Try to help. I know what my family goes through, so I want to help. If it's good for my kids, it's good for all of them. While all the same treatments may not work. You know what I'm saying? If it's good for my kid, then it's something that you should look into. If we're doing the spring water, and you know that that's the best water that we can possibly get instead of going out to the natural source to get it, is the spring water. Then we should be trying to tell all the sickle cells to try to get the spring water. Don't drink the alkaline water; it mess up your kidneys because it's dead water. They use electrolysis. It's dead water. So you want spring water if you can. If you can't get that, just get you some filter bottle, a water filter, or some bottled water, whatever you can afford. But if you can afford not to drink the tap water, please don't drink the tap water.
Mm.
If you, and I mean, I don't care if you're in Connecticut, I don't care where you at. The tap water is not as safe as what you think it is. The pipes are old. When you have problems with your water, your sewage, and you see these utilities being fixed, they're old pipes, they're lead pipes, they're rusty pipes that runs through them. If you're drinking that water, you need some kind of a filter or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you can afford, and the cheapest thing that I found, if you can't afford to buy the cases of water, you can use a lot of times for $1 to $2, you can get a gallon of spring water, which is going to give you more water than what you're going to get. It's going to last longer than what those cases of water are, which are sometimes are $5 or $6, depending on where you're getting your water. But if you can get it for like $1, 50, $2, that's still going to be cheaper than what your case of water.
Yo, shout out Lord Luminous, Six Chamber Wu Tang. He's in the live on the YouTube. Yo, shout him out.
Hey,
Peace,
yo,
Lord
word.
Luminous.
Lord
What's up?
Luminous.
What's up, Wu Tang
Six Chamber Wu
family?
Tang. Peace.
That's what I'm talking about.
Repping the
Six
10th chamber right here.
Definitely family in the building. Tell me a little bit more. Tell me about what you do with the black farmers. I would love to hear what are you doing with that since we're talking about the food.
Um, First and foremost, let me just pass my brother something right here. Oh, third. Right there, third. Drawer. Third. All right. So, for one, I am a farmer myself. We do well over 10,000 pounds of food annually, as well as fresh herbs, medicinal herbs, no cannabis. Um, and we also grow flowers as well. We have our own value-added line. We have our own spices, our own teas, all that fun stuff. At the same time, I'm also an organizer in the agricultural world. So we have most of the black and brown farmers in my state on one network. We're going around the region, so the New York Tri-State area in New England. I'm also working with farmers down south in Georgia, in Alabama, and Tennessee. I got a couple of people out west in California, and some people in the Midwest, trying to get farmers on one page. One, black and brown farmers. On the other side, farmers in general who want to use the correct farming practices, because it's not a black and brown issue at the end of the day. Like everybody's getting torn up by how
The
correct and
regulation.
incorrect
Oh my goodness.
conventional agriculture is, right? And if a white farmer has the right heart to do it the right way and they have a good product, that's good for me and good for my peoples. I'll take it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Bridge the gap. I believe in bridging the gap. I understand why the olive branch cannot be offered to everybody because sometimes it's the wolf in sheep's clothing and they're pretending to be for us and they are not for us.
Yep.
You know when we show up, because look at me. I'm sure I'm here. I'm showing up. I'm one of us. I show up and people are like, "Who is this?" But then once I get to talking to them, they're like, "Oh, she here to help." You know what I mean? So they recognize that. But we need to have more of that bridging the gap. We have to do the for me, I support B&B businesses, black and brown owned and women owned businesses. And it's not to say, like you said, I want to support the white farmers. I will. We want people that's friendly to everyone. And if you're not friendly with us, we're not friendly with you. If you're friendly with us, no matter if you black, white, yellow, orange, purple, green, or any color I could think of, magenta, we don't care. But we want love and respect. And if you're not with that,
Mm-hmm.
we're not with you. So that's why we always have to say black and brown, because a lot of the times we're not included. Our like our people are not included.
Indeed. That's just how hip hop is at the end of the day. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
it is.
As long as you can get down, you're good.
Right.
But you gotta get down, you gotta have good integrity, you have a
Correct.
strong character. You have to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, that the individual is safe around our neighborhoods.
Those
That's the
safety
part where we kind of
necessities.
failed.
It is because like even so, just like say your kid walking out somewhere and you think it's safe, and then they calling them in and this and that while they walking out with their friends. That happened to my kid a couple weeks ago. He out walking out. We got like a nice neighborhood. It's kind of uppity. We think it's cool. The kids come out and play with each other. Everything's cool. But he walked outside of our direct like our where the HOA is to the next one down there, and he walking with a white girl, his friend down the street, just walking, jogging because they're gonna do the running club or whatever. They were just taking a walk, trying to build up the endurance and stuff like that. And a white truck pulled up with three white boys in it, and they yelled at them. The white girl, she never experienced anything like that. My son, I know I've educated him, but he haven't experienced that. But at least he'd been educated. And
Mhm.
before he left, he's like, "Can I go?" I said, "Take your phone." Something said, I said, "Take your phone. You need something to call me." He called me. He said, "Mama," I said, bring your ass, bring your tail here, bring it here, bring your tail here. Come on." So, you know what I mean? But I have to say, safety, you know what I mean? Because you're not expecting that, but you never know when the unfriendlies are going to pop up. So it's not that I have
True
to classify
indeed.
to be like, "Oh, I don't like nobody." I like people. I like anybody that's a nice, good, decent person. But if you're not friendly, I'm not friendly either. And it's that part.
True
Because
indeed.
we got to protect, because you people just be doing regular stuff, and then people be so hateful. It's like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? So we want to get out of people that want to do, like you said, do things correctly, do things with respect, share the wealth, share the love and joy, that kind of thing,
Hey,
and
shout out Mike Booth, man. Mike
Hey
Booth in the
yo,
hospital when he's still tapped into
yeah.
the YouTube side.
yo, Mike Booth,
Prayers for
peace.
Mike.
What's up, bro?
We hope that you get better, bro. We praying for you, man.
True
I'm
indeed.
sorry to hear
Prayers
that
up.
Oh,
you're feeling.
look at that. We got Grandmaster Rodimus from Michigan tapping
Yo,
in.
There go
peace,
Mike. There goes
Grandmaster.
Mike. And there goes Grandmaster.
Grandmaster Rodimus. Yes, sir.
Thank y'all for showing up, man.
Long time
Yes,
no
yes,
see, big
definitely.
bro.
I love what you're doing with the you producing all that food. Let me go ahead and get us like a music break real quick, and then we'll get back to talking about the hip hop and talking about what you're doing for the culture. So give
Yes,
me a
ma'am.
second, and we'll get this pulled right up.
Copy.
All right.
You know who it is.
The Rhythm Gang.
Come on. Study the Dharma. Good karma's my armor. On beats I go Unabomber. Detonate any Boo Scouts honor. I promise, all garbage gets compacted. Rapping, I'm young now snapping. Acting like you the one. My rhyme non takes weight away. Reduce you bums to washed up status. Acting fool for crumbs. Slums to middle America. Will tell you Primal Mega's a cipher terror, bruh. When the gods slide through, clear the area. Rhyme hollows, lead drape, decorate your body's total interior. If not roll with me, you inferior. If not kill a bee or comrade, I'll bury ya. Mountains and notebooks, made billboard without zesty rapping, no hooks. More bars than whoever go look it up. Kids might got fame, but these dudes suck. That's a fact, literal, actual. Then have the juice factory, Snapple flow. Self-esteem shatter foes. Glad I chose the non-sellout role. Freedom flows for imprisoned minds, we build out those. Explosive like the greatest story never told. Prime Omega.
The mind elevation, my rhymes are Ayurveda, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, balance well by conversation. I'm tri-dosage, health in the wind, it's at a high dosage. Symbolism out the mud like a fly lotus. Skywalker, one with the force, manipulated matter and data. Path of the ancients, catch it with the path of the paper, tacit the flavor to tap into magnetic changes, not just about taste. Hit that your magnetic radiation, I exist beyond dimensions. And God's cognition selected the prep delectable rhymes like a 5-star kitchen. You see the light off of the distance when I start hitting and cool you off like winter frost. When I start spitting living words to balance out the mind, body, and spirit. That's on my rhymes, cause it's always positive when you hear it. The shaman on mics, medicine man with a pad of pen, like giving them C. I'm back at it again.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
Supreme says he's sending another one real quick.
All right, bet.
Yeah, that was a 10-minute verse? It was about 10 minutes, right? 10, 15 minutes? We just sat there with the beat playing.
All right, I'm finna check and see if I got one in there. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, it's right there. I see it. It's YouTube. Hold on. We got one more to play right here.
Shout out to Mike Booth.
Yeah, shouts out, Mike. We really do. We are praying for you, man. All right, hold on one second. All right, I got it pulled up. Let me just share with you so y'all can see that.
In the building, the band's all here.
7360 piece.
PBR Music, Mike Booth. You heard me. I pitch a complete game, no hitter. I don't need a reliever. Pony boy, outsider, stay golden retriever. I'm a keeper, eager beaver, eater, creeper, leader, speaker. Keeping heaters in between the cedars, heat in the meters. 9 milli, I'm really the dude who's making moves. With my crew dog, you feel me? It's still me, the huge, a big dude. Still tame as I ever was, paying homage to the bombers like their names to remember. Cause I keep 2 birds in the bush, and a gram in my hand, with a split wrap on deck so we can smoke and have plans and keep my mouth shut. Unless we're talking moving money shit, I can't fuck with you clowns. Theory circus living funny shit. If we're walking with a pop lock, that's how we rock. And the shit that he's talking is the shit that I want. Sipping paps and spitting raps with my hand on my Peter. I bereave without grief or empathy for my breeders. I'm a teacher of speakers, I don't believe in our leaders. So I'm peed the misleaders like speed bumps to a speeder. What calls the can the Constitution? Dog, I ain't playing. Bunch of crackers wearing wigs and we're just blindly obeying. I'm saying I'm bald, big, hitting heifers with a catalog. My catalog reads havoc, dog, like havoc swinging catalog. We don't want to battle, dog. Move along, little Padawan. I get that ass beat over a beat, another beat down in my catalog.
My demonstration is devastation by detonation. Medals decorated, no defamation, just dedication. With lyrical depth, I'm aiming till the spiritual dead are raising. Typical flames ain't blazing the same. Since I stepped on the pavement, prophesying for rounds in the wind till the drop bones are shaking. Teach ways away from pigs with handcuffs till we off the baking. Clean your life up, live it right, bruh. That's all I'm saying. For us to flip this whole thing over, our ancestors been waiting. Survived assassinations like Dr. King, Malcolm X, Coenzo, throw inside our shoe soles every time we buy the step. But we got it locked till no more black bodies drop. Hungry like me with a goon and supremo wax. Body yacht, and I am bringing the lyrical elements, building foundation, not talking the sediment. Manifest, gather my rise at the evidence, feeding your mind for societal sedatives like really now with the message I'm spreading it. Level your game, playing test while I'm checking kids, cause you get famous by giving attention and sitting that behind our mic is a specialty. Stretch some seeds, watch the party die. Rest in peace, I watch spread an epidemic of lessons like a government disease. Not asing for this or crack or battle rats or pieces. Established black, gatekeeping hip hop for freedom and our habitat. Yo, The beat is done, but not me. I spit flames like jackhammers to pavement, breaking the monotony. Militant minds to righteous people rise. Children's safety will not be jeopardized, so for them, ain't no stopping me. Hip hop needs organization. No more faking your way into the culture that raised me. Higher vibrations playing on radio stations. The life giving them seed plays for keeps. Till freedom, justice, and equality take the lead. Peace.
I can't play that. Nope, I can't play that. It just took over. Excuse me. All right. That was what that's exactly what I'm talking about. That was definitely dope. You tried to sneak me on there. They try to pull something else up right quick. We can't do that. Even though I do technically like that song, but I don't have the rights to play that. So but yeah, that was a dope verse. I like how you were talking about people not coming in and just taking from the culture, that they got to come in there and they got to give something back, and then we working on raising and putting in that high vibration. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That is
That right there
exactly
is everything.
it really is. I think a lot of people are really waking up to that. I think after COVID, a lot of people kind of woke up to the fact of how certain things were, and then the food's gotten like a lot worse since COVID. I mean, it seems like it's gotten like
Yes.
all worse. Like it's like you
Immediately,
go to the
yes.
store, and if you didn't see what was nasty then, you see it now, and you're just like, what is it? It's like slop. It ain't food, and even stuff that you was eating a year, 2 years ago, even 6 months ago, they're putting new ingredients in, and just like it's just gross. Like you don't even want to eat because it's like so nasty. Like you want real food. Like where's the real food at? You know what I mean? It's like so. I love what you're doing with the music. I love what you're doing with the food. We definitely need both of those movements. And like I said, I feel like they go hand in hand because real is real. You know, and
Appreciate it.
fresh
Thank you, sis.
and fresh is fresh. It refresh. You know what I'm saying?
So
Keep it
indeed.
fresh for real. Keep the
So indeed.
lyrics fresh, the music fresh, the food fresh. You know what I'm saying? And look, that's what he said. Grandmaster Rodham is fresh. Exactly, it's exactly what I'm talking about.
And the thing is, too, when you're talking about something like hip hop culture, a lot of people have no idea what that actually means, because a lot of us just grew up seeing rappers, you know what I'm saying, and then we hear what beat they on. So to a lot of people talking about hip hop culture, oh, okay, that's Jay-Z on a Just Blaze beat, you know what I'm saying, versus the actual fullness and the completeness of the culture, right? We go from having a rapper centered ideology of hip hop culture to a complete and universal ideology of hip hop culture. That's when things started changing. We started bringing in other elements. And because, you know what I'm saying, I came in as a B-boy again, things I had to start listening to in order to be able to compete, you know, to dance correctly, you know what I'm saying, it was very different. You start hearing some things that Rakim say. So you're not just listening to Don't Sweat the Technique. Then you start, you know, listening to it so you can battle better. Then you're like, wait, what did you just say? And I just never forget, just to this day, you can play this Big Daddy Kane verse anytime. I'm gonna bug out every time. Just let it roll, get bold. I just can't hold back and forward because I'm a man with soul and control and the effects of what the heck by the discotheque and this group is what's next. And that everyone just is on point. The whole spot blows up. Everyone's trying to battle everybody. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the DJ right there scratching live, half the time with actual vinyl. They flipping records how they're supposed to, you know what I'm saying? And these are the type of areas where you're quicker to see a KRS-One in person.
I've seen them. I saw them. I actually saw them live in Winston-Salem at Ziggy's. It's a place called Ziggy's. I saw many great people there. I saw KRS-One, De La Soul. I seen the Wailers like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times. I don't know how many times, but a bunch of times. I seen the Wailers over there. It was a dope spot. Alcohol was separate, but people it wasn't like smoke was legal, but people were smoking there. It was funny in the regular area, people could smoke, but if you wanted to drink, you had to go into the bar. You had to show ID, have a wristband. But if you was in the regular area, people just kind of did their thing. They didn't tell you could bring stuff in, but people did what they was gonna do. You know what I'm saying?
Sure indeed. So you just the understanding that hip hop is a collection of all these different elements. You know what I'm saying? That every aspect that helps the culture survive is in fact an element, and everything that constitutes a complete culture, hip hop has that. If you look at ancient civilizations, what do they got? Well, hip hop even has its own martial arts style that people aren't particularly familiar with outside of, you know what I'm saying, the mecca of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It has its own martial arts style. We have so much to be proud of and to fight for, and the idea that a lot of people have that hip hop is just, some people have this idea that hip hop is just hate speech, or that there aren't really many intelligent rappers. Like, no, like you said with the food, what up with the food was the real food at? Well, the real food has always been here. The real hip hop has always been here. The real dancers, the real producers, the graffiti
Yeah.
writer, everyone who's been hip hop from A1 day one, still here. You know what I'm saying? It's got the awareness to look for them. First off, the awareness that that thing exists. That's the first guiding principle. And you got to start looking for it. And once you tap in, you start tapping all the way in, and that's been one of my guiding forces since I really became hip hop. And you know, like KRS-One said, I am hip hop. And trying to be someone of a higher caliber of character is very, very important. You will not find people talking about, hey, yo, Holmes snaked me, or like, you know what I'm saying, dude, you know, was incorrect or whatever. Like, I got random people trust me with their babies. Like, I literally, ladies, oh, here, hold the baby. But, oh, okay. And as she's like adjusting her backpack or something, like, oh, yeah, thank you. And she takes the baby, like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? You got to really try to be a person of your word. And that's when you get opportunities. I know it's like I was blessed to be on stage with KRS-One. I've been blessed to be on stage with General Steele from not Mob Deep. Why am I slipping right now? Boot Camp Clip Family.
Cocoa Brothers, Smith and Wesson.
Smith and Wesson. Wow,
There
that
you
took
go.
me 5,000 eons. I could quote their material off the top, but like, man.
Who can't clip?
You know what I'm saying? I was on stage, you know what I'm saying, with them. And my last full length album was with DJ Johnny Juice from Public Enemy. A founding member of Public Enemy was spinning behind me. That was ill, and just
Wow.
it's a blessing to be able to have these opportunities and more, just because one, I diversified my skill set, right? Like people, my OGs were still calling me to rock with them, you know what I'm saying, for breaking, popping, other dance styles, and also get the crowd hype. And then, you know what I'm saying, they just might pass me the mic. Or if I'm in the building and I'm in the building with someone that I respect or someone that other people respect, you know what I'm saying, that might give me some other opportunities to touch the mic, or I roll with people, you know what I'm saying? There's no job is too small. You know what I'm saying? I'll be your media person. I'll just go and take pictures with you at your show. I'm not too big for that. So yes,
Right.
that's a very important thing, that humility that is still very much embedded in hip hop culture, but a lot of people ignore it.
The humility is big. See, I think I've noticed a big difference between hip hop and rap, because I love rap and I love hip hop, but hip hop, like there's different elements. You got the rapping, you got like the break, lock, and pop, and you got UK. So everything's got skills. You got lyrical skills. Everything's a skill in hip hop, and I'm not saying the rap isn't, but we're talking about different. It's just the materials that you're working with is different. If you making a meal and you making spaghetti, making spaghetti. If you making something else, you making something else. With hip hop, you got the break, lock, and popping. You got the lyricism. You got the graffiti. People forgetting about the graffiti art. If you don't live in the city, you probably not seeing graffiti, because where you seeing it at? Unless you got trains that's coming by, where you seeing it at? Because I don't want to say it's laws. It's not laws, because people still do it, but you really see it more like in the city, like in the hood. If you like in the country, you're not gonna see it unless the railroads coming by, because what you see is completely different. So, but you know, the quality is different. Like you're trying to put a message out there, and it's not. And I don't want to say that like rap does some of the plastic stuff, but some of it is certain parts of rap can be are with like the fake and the plastic and this and that, or with like a certain theme. But with hip hop was like, it wasn't no theme. It was hip hop was its own thing. Hip hop was whatever was real and true for you, and you keeping it real and you being your authentic self, of what you thought and you felt in that moment, what you went through. That was hip hop to me. That's what hip hop was all about to me. Being your authentic self, sharing with your real feelings, your real emotions, your real struggle, and putting it out there as a form of self-expression that nobody could shut up. They can't tell you to shut up. They can't tell you to put it away. You got to express yourself, or you're not doing anything disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop, they do have some dissing, but for the most part, it really was not disrespectful. Like you said, it was there to educate, to uplift, to give a creative outlet, so that because people were not taught emotional intelligence. So hip hop was giving a positive outlet for people's angers and frustrations. If life was treating you bad, if you didn't have no good food to eat, if you was at the bodega, if you had to worry about your child getting shot at the bus stop going to school, or any of that, or your grandmama and them just trying to cash their check at the corner store, and wonder if they're gonna get robbed trying to make it back to the house or the apartment or whatever, that kind of thing. Ain't
nobody got nothing to eat, yo. We from a food desert. Hartford, Connecticut is a food desert. Harvard's a food desert. When me and Azim was from the North End, there was not an actual real grocery store there.
It's true.
You have to go to the South End, West Hartford, Bloomfield, Windsor, Loxenfield. We're from a food desert. So everybody's mad, angry, hungry, tired, however you say it, halt, whatever. I don't care what the acronym is, all the time. We're from a food desert, man. Nobody want to be hearing nothing. How about that? I'm sorry.
Well, maybe we
That
could.
was supreme, y'all.
He could maybe Azim could teach us some things so that we could start, like I said, start small, growing some herbs, tomatoes, onions, potatoes, bell
That's
peppers.
actually a big part of our business model from our farm business. That's what we do. We started it primarily to do the education aspect, you know what I'm saying, and then teach people how to not only do things with what you got where you are, but you don't have to break the bank to start, and you can do it indoors, outdoors, hot, cold, don't even matter. So helping people break those limitations, you know what I'm saying, is a major part of what we do, and it's cool because I was doing a hip hop thing first, and my wife got me pulled into the I'm married. She got me pulled into the agriculture direction. You know what I'm saying? She was like, yo, we should do this thing. I'm like, all right. And she was the one who had the farming experience. At first, I ain't know too much about it. I'm just real good with, psychology in the areas of the mind. So she would just provide the information in our classes and I help people digest it. But then something happened and my study just hit a whole different level. And now I can do all my own stuff, which is dope. But yeah, that's because me, I'm coming from the, you know what I'm saying, people, like I love when some of my white friends would be like, you never saw a bear before? I'm like, what do you think I come from? Of course, I don't live near the woods. I've never seen a bear before. If you're like, you never seen this animal before? Like, nah, where I'm from, our livestock was pit bulls and Rottweilers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was always the joke. But you know what I'm saying? Because I come from not being exposed to stuff. I remember the incredible culture shock I had being on a real farm for the first time. And I'm looking at the pepper plants with peppers on them. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys see that? It's like at the grocery store. And then I'm the only black dude there. Everyone's like, yes, good job. Correct. That is, peppers come from a pepper plant. Yes. Brilliant. And I'm like, no, y'all don't understand because we don't have that where I'm from. So me
They're
coming
not doing
from
that.
that kind of a mud, you know what I'm saying? Me coming from that disconnect, that made it all the more impactful. You know what I'm saying, for all the things that we're doing, and it's beautiful. And I tie it in too because when I go for my shows, I bring our herbs and some of our goods with us, and also I have an album coming out. I don't know when I'm gonna drop it because I'm not trying to rush it. But if you listen to this album, you will have a comprehensive knowledge on how to grow food from top to bottom. I'm talking mulching, compost, vermicompost, minerals, trace minerals. I'm talking about the
Mm,
science of digestion. I'm talking about how food impacts you on a neurochemical and biochemical level, made simple so you don't have to deal with all the big words, right? I'm talking about soil biology and how to start seeds. And it's real simple. And I keep finding things in these big songs about. So, you know what I'm saying? Maybe the latest will be out is in the fall. But I'm gonna have an EP come before that called The Hip Hop Farmer. There's a small documentary about me and some other black farmers in my state and it's called The Hip Hop Farmer because they got me rapping in the studio and breaking and doing butterfly kick over a field of peppers, which is dope. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And so I named it based off of that whole thing. But yeah, it's definitely a thing, and it's cool too because I get to meet some of the OGs I admire and this and that. And I got my stuff on me. But listen, you know what I'm saying? Smith and Wesson walked home with some good, high quality, locally produced tea, and General Steel was very happy about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Nice.
we
Nice.
can be
Very
that
nice.
blessing.
Well, you feeding the culture. You feeding them with your lyrics, with the vibes, and with your food. And I mean, period. That's what it's about. We're supposed to be feeding each other's souls with like stimulating intellectually, with your spiritually. That's the vibe is your spiritual. People don't realize that when you hear that boom 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 ba-da-dum boom boom boom. That's the soul, that's the spirit, that's
Mm-hmm.
the vibe. That's your spirit. If you didn't know what you think is making you move like that. Boom,
Mm-hmm.
boom, boom,
Facts.
boom, 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 boom. It don't matter what it is. You start something off, and once you hear that bass, then you start putting it. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, that horn. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You're
It
doing it.
hits.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely, definitely.
I love that too because even when I work with some of the babies, I work also do things with children in the school system from all different kinds of ages. When I work with the real young ones who are still toddlers, you know what I'm saying, and
They
we
love it.
got buckets and we're just drumming on the buckets and giving them rhythms and just watch they unexpressive faces like this and just bopping. His head
Oh, the
just
babies
bopping.
love it.
The
It's
babies love it. I
it's
love just
universal.
watching them. Just yes, it is. I love just seeing that whole thing work. And that's also why I was always thought it was very important. You know what I'm saying? My rhymes got no curse words whatsoever. There's no foul content. You won't see me trying to run up on Shorty and them. Like, nah. This whole thing has to be peace, 360 all the way through. It has to be clean. Because that's what I value as a human being. You know what I'm saying? And I can't, there's no one who can't listen to my material. That's the whole thing. There are some features I've given where, you know what I'm saying, where it's not my project, not my joint. The person in front of me might be cursing or talking how they talk, but that's their project. And I make sure they ain't going too wild. You know what I'm saying? There's certain lines I will not hop on a project if we're talking like this. Like, no, that's not my brand. That's not my value. You can do that on your thing. That's dope, right? So that's one thing that's always very important for me. So if someone's on my project, no curse words. You know what I'm saying? We have to make sure that we respect to protect the women, especially Black women, because she is the most disrespected and the most unprotected. You know what I'm saying? We have to make sure that we keep these things up front and the misogyny has to go. No nation can rise higher than this woman. And people are wondering why the world's flipped upside down because the totem pole got flipped upside down. I'm not saying the woman's on top of the man. I'm saying we should at least be side by side. We're building a better reality for our people. You know what I'm saying? And you can't do that when you're holding the woman down. And like, how important is the woman in a cipher? She is of the utmost importance.
Right.
Like you can't even try to quantify how valuable a woman is in any cipher.
Keep
No, I
going.
I agree with that. I know that Latifah was one of the first rappers to vocally speak out against it. One of the first female rappers to do that because she was like, "I'm tired of y'all calling us bees and hoes." You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of you calling us that. We not none of that. We a woman. We demand respect. Without a woman, there wouldn't be no life because all life don't matter if it's a human, if it's a dog, a cat, whatever it is, a horse, anything. It have to come from the mother. If there's no mother, there's no child. There's no child. There's no human race. There's no anything. There's no nothing. You know what I mean? So, and it's like, Tupac said that too because he's like, how talking about how they treating the women. You know what I mean? Why are we beating and raping our women? Why are we doing this to our women? We
Because we are
should
conquered people.
ties for our women. Stay down for our women. Keep it real for our women. Be true to
Indeed.
our women. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you want to talk about some good Tupac lyrics, those are the ones that people need to be glorifying. Stop
Yeah,
calling
rest
it.
in peace, Pac.
People quick to put a woman down, but and I'm not saying all men, but some of those male behaviors, they're like, oh, you glorifying that, but that's what rips up the family. That's what makes the child not taken care of. That's what makes the woman have to work hard to be insecure because you are selfish. You had the same thing with the lady had, but you think, oh, that was it. Well, apparently that wasn't the end of it because you gave some extra. So now that's
Yeah.
the person they have to be taken care of.
But in
And
all
then,
reality, and in
Supreme.
any era of hip hop, what you've always had is people that aren't pushing a negative agenda. You have record labels and radio stations pushing a negative agenda, right? So you have to look at hip hop like you look at anything in society, right? Because
Correct.
it's the construct of a societal mind frame, position, and culture. So what you have is a person will say everybody in Connecticut or New York goes to jail. That can't be true because there's 3 million people in Connecticut, but there's only 8,000 inmates. Everyone don't go to jail, just like everyone don't make negative songs about we hate our females.
Yeah.
What's pushed is we
pushed.
hate our females, and that's a song they are pushing. By
Yeah,
they, I don't mean
exactly.
black and white. So it's very unfair to say that's what hip hop is doing.
Agreed.
Because there's way more positive people. It's just like my mother, right? And I love my mother to death. And she'll say everybody wants to be a rapper or be in the NBA. That can't be true. In a country of 400 million people, and you have less than 12,000 NBA members, ain't nobody trying to be in the NBA. I'm sorry.
No, but that's the actual fact. Many people who own these major record labels also own private prisons and are incentivized to spread the kind of message to fill those prisons to fatten their pocket and, you know what I'm saying, and do what they're doing now. This is a big connection point right there. And
Even
like
so,
even Too Short was like, yo, I tried to make a positive joint, and they said no, you can't do that. You're supposed to do this, and that's what we pay you for. You are on contract, and you will be in violation of your contract if you try to do something different. So it's not. I will never push the idea that hip hop is anything other than righteous. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But that's where grace and mercy comes in, because you don't always understand where someone's coming from, right? I've heard many interesting things that KRS and others have had to say about male female relationships as it relates to certain things. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, that there's fault goes both ways. And
there is.
at the end of the day, these are all traits and habits given to a conquered people, right? These aren't people in their natural context. These are
No,
people
not
who
at
are
all.
having to adapt to a society that says your value is when you are like this. And everything reinforces that. So we kind of bend ourselves to fit that. And that ideation goes straight through the genes, right into the next generation. And everything I see in society says, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. Right. So that's why
Police each other on that. They
trying to
police each other on that. They get
mhm.
you. They get you to think a certain way, and then if you not, they're like, "Oh, well, you not like us." So this and that. That's not the case. We still like some. We still like some of the like the bling earrings that we. There's a place for that. You know, we jam and we listen to
I
this
don't
and
like
that.
none of it.
But
Supreme don't like none of it.
I don't like none of it.
I know Supreme don't
The
like. I
reason
know
I
Supreme don't like
interjected
none
is
of it.
because we have to get past saying that the only thing that's being pushed is negative, or this is what rappers talk about. Because if all you are hearing is people being negative and talking about the booty shake and the negative, you're listening to it. So how'd you hear it? Because I don't hear that stuff. I have not ever heard a song by Doechii. I have never heard a song by Meg. I've never heard a full song from Megan Thee Stallion. I've never even heard a full song from Ace. My son loves Ace Boogie. I've never heard a full song. So the answer to the problem, which is the problem to the answer to the question, the paradox is, why did you hear it? What's your algorithm sending you? What you into? I'm gonna go. Okay, it's not Zemo's interview.
There is
And
that.
on
Is that
top of that is also what he's feeding into. What do you choose to listen to at that point? Because it can exist, but doesn't mean it has to exist inside your mind. So
there's stuff I have to skip because I'll play one song and then they think I want to go on this because I played one song. I'm like, nah, I'm not even on that tip with all that in there. I just like this one particular song, but because it had this vibe, you think I want to go with that kind of music, but that's not what I was going for. Yeah, I had that vibe. Hey, 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 but it wasn't. That's not what that song was. It was a different. It may have had that vibe, but it wasn't what they thought it was. So it's stuff on autoplay. It depends on what streaming service you are. Because I noticed like, okay, if I'm on, let's just use Instagram for instance. On my Instagram, I do a lot of spiritual stuff. I'm looking at healthy eating. I'm looking at farming. I'm looking at Acre Boys. I'm looking at 19 Keys. I'm looking at stuff like that. So all I'm
my
getting on
man,
there is spiritual stuff. I'm getting all that on there. That's what I'm into. So I'm not getting all that other stuff in there. Now, if something pops up in one of the areas of people that I know, like it's like say if somebody got shot or something like that, something happening to ones, I have a certain channel that's New Orleans. If something happened, they're gonna cover that, and then I'll see that. But other than that, I'm not getting like violence, or I'm not getting all this stuff on my page. Now, if they're doing something against our people, that definitely comes to my page. That definitely comes to be like anything for like black and brown or women that's women support. That's all that stuff's gonna come to my page, and I'm gonna like and support. Now, if it's something, but I will wear options. Be like, hey, what's going on here? Hey, they doing this wrong. They don't need to be treating people like this. This is a very simple fix, but people just hateful and entitled or whatever the problem is. Whatever the problem is,
some people
I,
are.
yeah, I don't know. I can't be around. I don't really be around people like talking about. I be around people when I go out. And people recognize me because I'm different. They're like, hey, you're different. I don't know people like you. Where are you from? You ain't from here. I'm like, yeah, I'm from New York. Like, oh yeah, that explains it. You got a good vibe. Your energy different. You know what I'm saying? They're like, why is there more people like you? I said, I don't know. Let's find more people that want to cooperate, want to get back to the culture, that want to put positivity and love and stuff like that out there. I ain't gonna say I'm all love all the time. You know what I mean? But we trying to put that positive outlook out there, like you said, for the kids. Just imagine there's some stuff that I used to like to listen to back in the day. I was listening to all the edited stuff. I didn't realize I was listening to all the edited stuff because when the stuff went to play, we gonna sing along because we thinking it's what we heard on the radio edited. Whoop, we gotta flip that, gotta whoop, whoop. Oh, we can't. I said, damn. Then I got to the point I'm like, we can't listen to any of these songs because I have been listening to some of the stuff with my kids. It's like we just like, damn it, we didn't even know they said some of the stuff that they said in there because they slip it in, like they'll slip it in. And if you're listening to the edited version, like something that plays on the radio, they're not gonna have that. But if you listen to a platform that, unless you put in edited version, you're not gonna get the radio version of that song, and you're
And
gonna
that's
hear.
back in the day when we actually had radio versions. Nowadays, they kind of take the middle letters out of a curse word, and they have all the context still in there. It's like back in the 20s, if you say hell in a line, they would skip that entire bar. That whole phrase would just be
Oh
done.
wow.
You know what I'm saying? Do you fast forward to, you know what I'm saying, raps in the 90s? If you say a curse word, they'll have you replace it. So in other words, yeah, these people out here, you know what I'm saying, that was common practice. So that went over a lot of our heads going, I'm a 90s baby. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays on the radio, it's all there. You like they barely bleep the words. And on top of that, the context is still there. So if you are an even semi-intelligent child, you can put A and B together. So there's not really any editing left. And I tell a lot of younger MCs, a lot of MCs trying to get on, you gotta make sure, listen, how you do your lyrics is how you do, but you just better have a clean version. And you better train yourself to spit it, because I know a lot of people freeze when they try to bleep out their own curse words. And they like forget their verse and freeze up. You got to have a clean version you can do in different venues. You know what I'm saying?
Kendrick did
Like,
a great job with that. When he did the Super Bowl, he did
yes.
an amazing job. That was ridiculous. I was like, yo, I was like, he so did that. You know what I'm saying? It gonna
Indeed.
be the one that dropped the skull. I think he got some hoe. You know, he just anyway. Is he shifted over the inflection so they still had the same vibe, and it didn't mess up any of the accentuations of the lyricism at all. And I was like, yo, because I watched that. I went back and watched that several times.
I watched it several hundred times. I ain't gonna hold
I
you.
watched it
I'm a
several
fan of
times.
that. That joint was ill. That joint was ill. Everything
Definitely.
about it was ill. I loved it. And I'm waiting for that song to drop, because when GNX was first being teased, there was a song that was not actually on the album. And he did a longer version of it, open up the Super Bowl. And I'm just like, I'm waiting for it, Dot. Whenever you're ready, Kendrick. We here for it, you know what I'm saying? Because that joint is ill.
All I gotta say is let's do it. 40 acres in a view, man. Somebody gotta do it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? That's just straight from Kendrick on that one. But I think everybody should go and try to get some kind of land. If you in the city, go somewhere, eat whatever. We can all get land. I'm talking to anybody. If you live in the hood, the bodega, you got to go eat the bodega. If you in the food desert and you don't have nothing, you can get a piece of land somewhere. Now it doesn't have to be exactly where you are. You can go looking the internet. If you got a phone, you can go get the looking up. Some places will give you free land. Now, is it undeveloped? Yes. Is it in the middle of nowhere? Yes. But it's your land. And can anybody tell you what to do on that land? No, they cannot. So get with
Except for
somebody.
zoning. Except for
Right,
zoning. Zoning
the
can be a pain
zoning,
in the butt.
Yeah,
right, but if it's not zone, if
they
it's
definitely
zone,
they definitely get eminent domain you and take your things.
there's always that. But we trying to give people hope. We trying to let people know that everybody can have a piece of land, at least a quarter acre. I think that's what I got out of my backyard. Everybody can get something. Everybody deserves to have their own home.
Yo, let
Everybody
me say
deserves.
something. That's the truth, yo. If the government is against you, it ain't no hope. Because in all fairness, what a person is not gonna do is they're not gonna stand up and say, "This is the land that I bought for my kid, and I'm about to stand here and get unalived over this." So let's be honest. Let's do that though. My mother owns land. My grandmother owns land. Listen, let's be honest. Get your bread, man, and do the right things that are gonna go that way, because everyone's not in a position to sit there, and you're not standing up against the government. If the National Guard rolls up to your house and says we're taking your land, you ain't standing up to them. You know why? Because you got 6 kids you got to take care of. So we're not doing that. We don't want to push. They can't, because they can't.
Well, it do depend on who you're speaking with, and if people are legal gun owners, I would encourage if you're melanated to become a legal gun owner. And I'm saying that not for you to be like promoting violence. I'm saying that for personal protection. If you do go get that piece of land, you need to be able to protect your family and your property. Like I said, not for violence, but if you can have something legally, they don't want you to have legally. You should be able to uphold your legal right if you so choose. Now, if you don't like, if you so choose, if you don't like them because you know it can get violence, and that's your stance, I totally respect that and understand why you would not want that. I was definitely that way at one point, but then I saw another point is like you can defend yourself, or you can be left with knuckles at a gunfight. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's trying to break in your house. I actually had somebody steal my kid's bike when I lived in the hood, and then try to break in our house, and I was at home alone with the kids. and then something. My phone service was messed up. There was something janky going on with the phone service. So I slept with a knife under my pillow that night. Bush knife, sure did, because I wasn't finna play. If they try to break in, I had something for them. Put my
I'll,
kids in my room, that kind of thing. But I'm just saying, you want to be able to, you know, we don't want any violence, but you want to be able to know the laws, protect yourself, and if there's anything that you can do to have something for yourself. Land itself, even if you don't live on that land, has value. You can grow food on it. There's there's just, I don't even know what else to tell you, but we should be helping each other. If we know how to help people get free land, if they would like to do that and play some have something generational wealth. Do you know what I'm
I
saying?
will.
What's the farmland today could be your family's home tomorrow. It could be a couple acres, and you could put, like Boosie did, 4 or 5 houses on there, got a family compound, and y'all making stuff with your family. You know what I'm saying? That part.
I will say. I will never say there's no hope. So just because someone said that earlier, I would never say there's no hope.
I
I will
want to
say
say
there is nuance, and then I say there's being intelligent in different situations, and what that looks like varies from, say from point A to point B. And the whole thing about getting land is you got always got to be watchful, and you always have to be careful. There's a situation up in New York State, no names. A sister bought some land up there so she can do her whole homesteading thing. She got animals and everything.
yeah.
And the amount of racism she faces, she is trying to get out as fast as possible because them white folks throwing bricks in her window. They're threatening her babies. They cannot go to school. They're keying her car. They're poisoning her animals, and she is not safe in that
Wow.
environment. So these things have to be sincerely considered. And in terms of getting land in places, you can be told what to do depending on what is in that land, right? So wetlands can be a problem. Like this, it's just about knowing what the situation is and learning how to work around it, right? So if the different kinds of resources you can't do anything with, right? Or even if it's your land, do you own the mineral rights to it, right? If you want to, so it has everything to do with what you want to do. And in terms of growing food, well, is that land suited towards it? How much work is it going to take to create fertile soils so we can produce the kind of food you're looking for? You know what I'm saying? Because as someone who does it full time, we don't need a million farmers. You know what I'm saying? That's not everyone's job. It's a hard job, and we definitely need more. But then we also need people to, what I'm saying, know how to cook the food. We need people to bring the food to market. Like if we can take some work off the farmers' hands, that'd be dope. Because right now we gotta get the land. We gotta fight to keep people off the land. You have to fight to get the animals off the land. You have to put that seed in that soil. You gotta raise that crop, protect it from pests, disease, and deer, and all that type of stuff. Then when the thing is ready, you have to pick it, you have to harvest it, then you have to bring it to a market, you have to convince people to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Then you have to always gotta find there's to be a farmer, you have a million jobs at one. And that includes all these different things that offshoot off of agriculture, electrical work, motor work, the tractor. If you have a tractor, the tractor breaks down, then what? How you gonna get that thing going? You have to learn how to do plumbing for irrigation. So all these things that offshoot off of agriculture, it's not easy. It's the most worth it thing you can ever do if that's the thing you fall in love with. There's some aspects of agriculture that everyone can easily fall in love with and that they can make a business out of. You know what I'm saying? But there's this trend that people are like, oh my gosh, I got a homestead and I got these flowers and everything's going great. Like there's a whole trend about that. And these aren't people who do this for a living, you know what I'm saying? And these aren't people who have a social expectation, right? Because you go to certain areas, it ain't safe for you. Then what? You
You
know
have
what I'm
to
saying?
check
So
it out.
you got to
You,
check it out. And
I did that.
you have
I did that.
nuances.
I got my realtor. Shouts out to Shelly Torres. So Shelly, she's light skinned like me, but she's got a Spanish husband. So she's faced discrimination. And so I got the perfect realtor because when I got her, I said, listen, I have black children. We need to know, I need to find a way to know that when I go look for it and I get this house that we're getting, that it's safe for them and that it's friendly. Because if it's not friendly, and that's definitely true with like my best friend. She has some property out kind of somewhere out this way, and she got some of the same thing. They had some white farmers or whatnot out there. They did not want her out there. Didn't want to give her access. If you some places that you get, you have to make sure that there's road access because sometimes you get the property and it's zoned in. Then you have to work with these other people to see if you can get access to that. And if they don't like us, and then that means they don't like you. You know what I mean? If they don't like my family, they definitely don't like your family because my family is like your family, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? So
In zoning too, it's just there are things that you can't do in certain areas. You can always get that changed. So just to touch people with that, you can always apply for
Yeah.
special zoning. It's not always a fun process. I've been through it with people a few times because I'm like I said, I'm big into organizing and help people do things. Me helping people, we've had three or four successful cases. It's not a bad batting average, but it do be a pain in the butt sometimes, depending on who you got to go through. One was extremely easy, and I was like, oh, thank God. You know what I'm saying? And I was able to go up and talk some talk. The other ones were hard, like real hard. And my peoples I work with still got some trauma around that crap. You know what I'm saying? But the reality situation is there's always something that you can do to better yourself, to better your circumstances. And that's the whole point of everything in life, I feel. Not exclusively, but there's something to every situation to make you better, to make you stronger, make you faster, more aware. And it's just having the consciousness to go about looking for whatever that answer is. You know what I'm saying? In terms of agriculture, in terms of hip hop, everything is connected at the end of the day. That's one of the reasons I find it important for me to kind of try to spit as much as I can because you'll like, let's say I was whack at rapping. That might be someone's opinion. I have no idea. I'm unbothered by that. You know what I'm saying? But if I can use my ability to help someone feel better about themselves and their situation, it was a W. You know what I'm saying? So that at the end of the day, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to be a resource to help people however I can in terms of anything I can help you with. And I'm here to point you in directions to help you do what you gotta do if I can't help you or if I know someone can help you better. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to help encourage people and I'm here to help people keep it real. Because I'm not the rainbows and butterflies. Oh, everything's gonna be okay at the end of the day, Johnny. That's not no. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like, yes, you can make it, but it's gonna suck. And you gotta do this, you gotta do that. If you know what I'm saying? So we just gotta keep it real with the people and then help people understand that there's always a better side to it. I'm sincere with that. I don't know about no toxic positivity. I don't know about no toxic masculinity. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
Anything that's
God.
real ain't toxic. You know what I'm saying? But we
That's
gonna give you a
crazy that
feel
people
for
do
it.
that. Yeah, that's crazy that people even put that out there. But I feel everything what you're talking about um as far as the movement that you're trying to make with the hip hop, what you're trying to do with the food. I definitely feel that. I know that like you said, it's not easy to be like you say a farmer. I don't think that everybody necessarily wants to be a farmer, but what I do think I would like to see everybody do. I don't care if you like in the city, in the country, in the suburbs. I think that everybody should start having
Something.
some kind of a garden. I don't care if it's an herb garden, a terrace garden,
Mm-hmm.
in the house. You won't get much sunlight, but you got an in the house garden. You got
Mm-hmm.
whatever you got to do. I don't care what you
Five
do.
gallon bucket with some grow lights that'll get
Something,
it in. Everyone
something.
should have
But
something.
yes, we want to have that because if you can, let's just say if you take your top 3 or 4 foods and you can include herbs. If you have 3 or 4 foods that you grow that you know that your family is going to consistently eat, not only will it save you at the grocery store, but it'll teach your children where food comes from. You'll be eating
That part.
healthier. It's hands on. It raises your vibration. It's stress relief. Not to mention
Mm-hmm.
that most plants, if you have anything that's growing indoors, for those that are in the city in those food deserts, you're probably either growing them on the terrace or possibly indoors to make sure people aren't contaminating your plants on the terrace. If you have people that are really jerks, right? But you can grow them in. They have some people that have like their whole house with plants in them. I haven't done that, but you know what I mean. Anything that you can do to provide for yourself and make it nutrient, that
Mm-hmm.
would be. I mean, we all need to have some kind of growing something, anything,
Yeah.
growing something. You
Something
know what I
that
mean?
excites you too. I got a coffee tree in my crib. You know what I'm saying? I got a coffee tree.
Wow, I need to find out about that.
I'm so excited when that thing starts, bearing fruit again. Because coffee beans, for those who don't know, coffee comes from a tree. It's a tree that bears a fruit. The coffee bean is the seed of the fruit on the inside of the fruit. That's what that whole piece is. For those who don't know,
I
I'm
would.
excited about my coffee tree. Her name is Natasha. I love her dearly. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But everyone can grow something. Just let it be something that excites you. There's something for everybody. And when people say things like, "Oh, gardening is, it's self-care, it's therapeutic," that's not like some stuff that some well-off retired white women would say. That's like, no, there's it's science. The biology in the soil interacts with your palms. You know what I'm saying? That goes straight to your nervous system up to your brain and causes your brain to release dopamine and serotonin. You feeling good. You know what I'm saying? You can come there in a bad mood, go ahead, work some soil, and you're gonna be feeling all right before too long. And the talking about the vibrational wavelength, I'm talking about some of the highest level conversations you'll have with some people will be at that farm because people come to my farm. They, what I'm saying, I call them weed them and weep. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Weed them and weep. It's a little joke. You know what I'm saying? But people will feel it and you get that release. Because, just the whole science of it is fascinating. It's not something I necessarily talk about to everybody because everyone isn't on that. But
Mhm.
just the fact that we are electrical beings, like for real, like there's electricity that goes through here. The thing that powers your entire nervous system is electricity. So when you eat a living plant, right, that has electrical energy in it, right, that's enhancing your whole aura, your whole vibration. And then when you put your hand in the soil, you're grounding that electrical energy. So when
Mhm.
it's just like you have to take care of what you take in, and you have to find a way to let it out, right? So when you have ideas circling in your head a lot and you don't put them down on paper, you're
Mm.
allowing that just to fester and drive you crazy. Write them down. You have a lot of energy in you. You don't start stimming. You don't go jog or you don't go dance or find some way to get it out of your body physically. It's going to start causing body problems, right? There's different things that we can do to help that aspect.
Hungry
And
like Supreme with no goon on no body out. And I ain't bring the
was that my bar?
Yeah.
Hungry like me with the Lagoon Supreme on wax, body yeah, and then bringing the level. Yeah. Okay. I'm
Oh,
with
you
it.
went fast on you went twisted fast on that one.
I can go pretty fast. I haven't ever like wrote whatever. I never like recorded how fast I can actually rap. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. But I love the element of the MC. I don't know at what point it became my main element. Like we have the International Hip Hop Festival coming up soon. It's the only international hip hop festival in the world, and it is in what city, Supreme?
Hartford, Connecticut, Trinity College,
Hartford.
In the
homicide.
hopping.
You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be ill, and I go to the dance battle every year. So we about to get it in. I'm ready. I'm ready. These kids about to get this work. I don't care who's gonna be across from me on that battlefield, but we gonna go in.
Big Conrad Wu Tang shirts.
I need a Wu Tang hoodie. That's another thing. I need a Wu Tang. I'm known for wearing suits all the time. That's another thing. So I'm gonna be wearing my suit, but like I can get like a Wu Tang bow tie. That'd be ill. That'd be ill. So
That
I'm
would be
I'm a
definitely.
yeah. That's another thing people remember me for. I'm always going places in suits and like have people like, yo, I first met this brother. He was wearing a 3-piece suit and he was breaking. He did a backflip into a what's it called? And he was spit on the floor of the suit. I'm like, oh, okay, that's your first time seeing me. That's funny. That's why everyone remembers me. I'm the guy who's going places in suits, FOI style. You know what I'm saying? So
That's what's up. You gotta dare to be different, dare to be you. Don't be somebody else. So that's the main thing that I see is like a lot of things. I think that a lot of people get into the industry early and they don't fully know themselves. So when someone brings them a narrative, they're young, they're like, oh, I'm having fun, whatever. Like it's fun, they're having fun. But then when like things start happening, they start having children, they're taking life a little more serious. It's not all about like the party and the girls or whatever people's deal is. When you're young, people do foolish stuff. Whatever it is, people do stupid stuff when they're younger. You got to figure it out. You're coming into adulthood, nobody can tell you what to do. So you live a little bit. Sometimes you live a little too much. Sometimes you don't. You know what I mean? But we all make mistakes. Is the point? You know. Um,
that's
we
part
all
of a
make.
broader that's part of a broader issue too at whole that we're seeing that across
Yeah.
all forms of industries. The short term artist. You see that in movies. What was it? Anthony Mackie, who plays Captain America now, was talking about that. How there's no big superstars in Hollywood and acting too much anymore. As long as you can have someone come in, do a movie, and they have a 5-year run, you never have to pay them what a superstar would be worth. And you've seen that in hip hop too, in different genres for the most part. So the short term thing, I was getting short term jobs. There's no, you don't go to the Walmart and work there for 70,000 eons anymore. And by the time you're getting ready to retire for your third time, I know everyone's going to Walmart and seeing exactly what I'm talking about. Person with with the grayest, whitest hair who's been there for like 50,000 years. No disrespect. Who's going to his second run, already retired. You know what I'm saying? That's not really much of a thing happening anymore these days. So it's just real important that people will figure out, like you're saying, who they are and how to monetize that, how to get their business together, and how to understand their own value. Because if you don't think that you're valuable, you'll never charge your worth.
That's the part. That's the main thing is authenticity, finding out who you are. If you had imposter syndrome before, so what? A lot of people have had imposter syndrome at one time or the other, not because they're trying to be inauthentic, but because a lot of people things are pushed on them or put on them. They stick them in this box, and then they're like, I don't fit in here. I don't fit in here. They stick them in this box, and then a lot of people just cave in and they go with it because it's the money, it's the fame, or maybe their families promised something. That's how a lot of people get in crappy deals, or if they didn't do their paperwork. But a lot of people, you know what I mean? Like they've been hungry for life. They trying to get out of their spot. They trying to do better. If I make it, I'm gonna do this for my mom and them. I'm gonna do this for grandmom and them. I'm gonna doing this for whoever it is. But everybody has got somebody that they want to, when they want to pay retribution. They want to thank for who helped them, who was there for them, whoever your person was, whatever, you know what I mean? But it all goes back to like what you said, the authenticity and people finding who they are. Don't just don't give in to what people put on you. Because somebody say something
Facts.
doesn't make it true. Because somebody put that idea in your head don't mean you have to do it or this that. Because people don't know how to say no. People don't know how to put boundaries, and it's because they don't have the emotional intelligence, because none of this was ever taught. This is something that we're like, when it's put out there presenting in hindsight, you're like, oh yeah, such and such. But when it's happening to you, you don't know nothing about this. You know the grit, the oh, work hard and do this and that, and you'll get it. And then it doesn't happen for everybody. And then you're like, well, that's crap. Well, if they worked hard, they deserve to get what I got. I'm no better than them. They're no better than me. We're equal. So if it was good enough for me, then you should be able to get it. And if it was good
Mhm.
enough for you, I should be able to get it. It shouldn't matter what race you are, what your ethnicity is, what if you're a man or woman, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to get what you earn, what you deserve based on merit. That's what it's supposed to be. Word is bomb. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And
What
that's
is your
coming.
Yes, because I know I live by that, live by the sword, die by the sword. I live word is bomb. I'm old school in that part. That's the old school part I think we should bring back. Not that we have to work hard for everything, but that we appreciate things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then our word means something. And it's
Mhm.
not just how we say, I said this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Everything that I say I'm gonna do, I'm actually working on those things. If something happens and I can't do it, then I'm gonna speak up and say, hey, I know I said I was gonna do this. I'm not able to make it because, but I don't just like cancel things or I'm not showing up for this. I'm not that person. Like if I say, yo, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it. Unless something really happens, I'm like, yo, I found out this is bad news. I'm not rocking with that.
Mhm.
Or somebody got
Integrity.
I'm not able to make it, someone's
Mm-hmm.
sick, I can't do anything about that. But I'm true to my word, and I think we need to go back to that because people talking, it's a dime a dozen, like, oh, we can't trust them, they just talking. So then when somebody does say
You know
something
what
that
I think
values
is great
trust it.
about word is bond? You know what I think is great about word is being bond? Is that we should probably do a part 2 of this because the Life Giving MC has a whole farm tour has to go.
Oh, word. Cool.
Definitely. We could do it to part two.
Yeah, if this was entertaining for everybody and people found value in this, I'd be open to that.
I'm always looking to have intellectual conversations about life in hip hop, love in hip hop, life in hip hop, everything we've been talking about. That's the life air. That's what I breathe. That's how I live my life. And I look like for people like yourself and Supreme, um, like on the journey, people like yourself, because that's what I aim to do. Like I would like to help you, and if there's anything I could do to share that out, or maybe if you guys are going to put a book together and how people could maybe start it in there. If you're from Hartford and you know what you grew up with, put a book out there for people that's just like yourself that grew up in the area just like you, when they can learn how to grow something small for themselves, two or three
Sure
things, some
indeed.
earth, anything, to start somewhere to have. And look what I did. They can show their kid. Because I don't know if everybody does those science experiments where they bring the beans home and
Mm.
they grow that in class. That might be the only experience they ever get with the plants.
I didn't get that one, but I love when my plants germinate. That has not tens of thousands of plants later, maybe hundreds of thousands of plants later. It's still exciting when them things germinate and they start, saying that's always fun.
Be of substance. Be what you talk about. Be the change.
There you go.
Live by your word. You know what I'm saying? Live with integrity. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody perfect. We ain't holding nobody to be perfect. We don't want nobody to try to be perfect. Don't even attempt it. It's not. It's not good. It's not fun. It's not gonna be good for you. It's not about being perfect. It's about trying to.
It's the
I don't,
process.
yeah, it's a process. I don't want to say do the right thing, but trying to contribute to make things better, doing your part to try to make an effort to try to improve things and make things better for the next person, for the next generation, for the next child, for the next person, adult, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Sure
That part.
indeed. And thank you for all your hard work. Clearly, you're a very passionate person, and clearly, you know what you're talking about. A lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people who talk health and wellness don't really know and not really ready for that conversation. So thank you for your service and everything that you do to help inspire and bring awareness to the people. You know what I'm saying? I salute you.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're definitely welcome on anytime. I don't know if it wants to be next week. You want to come on here, or in the following week, but we'll definitely get you on here very soon and do a part two. Because we definitely need to continue these conversations. This is definitely part of what I love doing on the Heather Marie Show. Definitely talking about the music. We play the music, we do the interviews, but I like to talk about music, especially hip hop culture, and definitely shout out to Sickle Cell too, because everything all ties in together. It all goes back to
Indeed.
support each other, the community, and like being the change. Like you are definitely being the change. I know I'm being the change. I know Supreme is, and anybody that's being the change and trying to make things a more positive thing, we salute you. You know what I'm saying?
And shout
Um,
out to my other hood, Springfield, Massachusetts, where I graduated high school. Mecca, Mass, the first place the 5% of teachings went after it left New York. You know what I'm saying? So I'm from Hartford, you know what I'm saying? And Springfield had such a powerful impact on my consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So repping, I'll take both cities with me on my back, and I'll take all people who are striving to do better on my back, and we'll get there together. But with that, thank y'all so much, family. I salute y'all. Peace.
all right, peace out. It's the Heather Marie Show. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see you next week.